Welcome, Red Eyes members. It's great to have you with us, and thank you for tuning in to Hour 2 with RIR-A.Webre. We're having a really interesting conversation about the L-Cross mission, the NASA space program, and what they're doing here in October, and the bombing with this kinetic weapon that we've been talking about. We've been talking about secret space programs as well, and human activity and alien ET activity on the moon. Also Mars, actually. And I want to begin this segment here to ask you a little bit about the secret space program, what the humans might be up to. And if you think that there is any activity specifically that we know about in regards to the South Pole, where the first bombing is targeted at. Do you think there's any kind of human basis activity there, or ET basis specifically, that has been talked about by some of these eyewitness testimonies that you mentioned in the first hour, Alfred?
Well, yes. I have been contacted by researchers who have stated that i.e., we don't have firm evidence, but I will give you the nature of the conversation, and that is that there are some researchers who are stating, and they're not willing to go on the record, but who are stating that there is some evidence that this area in the South Pole may have been an old shadow government base. That is an old base of the secret space program, which the U.S. wants to eliminate, as there would be vulnerability to viewing it by some of the powers like China, India, Japan, and the European Space Agency, who are now planning moon missions.
Yes.
I don't know how much weight to put on that, because if you're part of the shadow government and you wanted to eliminate a moon base, well, you would do so with one of the shadow government's spacecraft. It would be much easier. So I don't know how much weight to put on that. Just a comment now about the secret space program, which there appear to be, from the evidence, and UK researcher Gary McKinnon,
yes,
who is now at vulnerability of being extradited to the U.S. for 80 years, has provided some corroborating evidence when he discovered whole lists of non-terrestrial officers in the U.S. That is officers of the U.S. Armed Forces who are assigned to duties off planet.
Yes.
And so that the secret space program, and all of this is financed, by the way, by what we call the black budget, which your listeners are probably familiar with, but
yes.
through a mechanism in various acts that were passed in the early 50s, there's a huge numbers of funds which are siphoned off from civilian agencies and from other illicit areas like the international drug trade, which finances a black budget, which part of the black budget is apparently, by the evidence, a secret space navy of anti-gravitic spacecraft, which the U.S. or some supranational authority now operates, and which may include interstellar craft, and that is craft that can travel beyond our solar system and perhaps outside of our galaxy. There are about between 200 and 400 billion stars, solar systems in our galaxy, and our galaxy is 100 million light years across.
Yeah, yeah.
So that gives you an idea of the stakes that we're talking about. But of course, if you're traveling via wormholes, you can travel these distances in a reasonable time from a human point of view.
Yeah.
The second part of the space program, which now we have multiple whistleblower testimonies to, both from Henry Deacon and from Andrew D. Bashago, and from other witnesses that you can, if your listeners go to projectcamelot.org, they can find out more. And this secret space program uses a teleportation technology, which is developed from the science of Nikola Tesla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this teleportation technology, we have evidence of that there are at least, we know of, from whistleblower testimony, we know that there are U.S. secret bases on Mars, and that there's a teleportation corridor between the U.S. and Mars.
Alfred, sorry to cut you off, but I want to ask you a little bit of what do you think is some of the activity that goes on here? I know that there was a pretty interesting story in regards to mining and so forth, and you mentioned this a little bit before, of course, but apparently what I've heard, there's 3 people who own the mineral rights to both on Mars and on the moon. I think there's Joseph Resnick, Timothy O'Neill, and Guy Kramer. Don't know if you heard about that or if you think it's true or not, but do you think that there could be some kind of business deal going on here, or is there something completely different that we're talking about, why they would have what you term off-world officers, so to speak?
Well, that's a very interesting angle. According to the Outer Space Treaty, the legality of those mineral rights would be extremely questionable, as would the legality of any mineral rights that would have been granted on the moon. So I haven't seen that particular story, but it certainly is within the realm of possibility. I've heard from the 2 whistleblowers, Mr. Bashago and Henry Deacon.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard two different accounts of their different activities. One, Mr. Deacon, that's not his real name,
sure,
reports that he has teleported to Mars once for a meeting. I don't know how many times he's gone, but at least the one time that he spoke about on video, and that video was produced by Project Camelot. So you can go to projectcamelot.org. It was filmed at the Exopolitics Summit in Barcelona, so it may not be up, but it should be up soon.
Yes.
What he states is that he teleported to Mars for a 1-hour meeting. It sounded like a meeting of an administrative nature on some sort